is only war.
All right, what is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We got a special guest for you today. Happy Crumping Wargaming is joining us to get an awesome video going over some detachments that are kind of like diamonds in the rough that not a lot of people look into or kind of go over and think that it's good because they follow the meta and go based off that. But real quick, happy Crumping, welcome. Tell us who you are, what you've been doing, where you started, kind of get some shout outs for yourself and tell us, who you are.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks so much for having me. So basically, I run Happy Crumping Wargaming. My channel is all about strategies and tactics, and more importantly, it's about the mindset that is so required for this game that I feel like is not talked about enough. It's like, how do you actually approach a game with a correct strategic mindset? Because for me, this game teaches critical thinking unlike any other really thing in life. We don't really have formal training for critical thought processes, but 40k, well, it's not formal, but 40k teaches the skill of critical thought better than anything else in the world. So I really dig into that, and I dig into the whys of how people win, not necessarily, oh, well, he took this unit to do X, X job. Instead, he actually approached the game with X mindset and dominated that way. So that's the way my channel tends to approach things. I also really get into ignoring the meta, and I tend to have a lot of crap talked about me because I tend to disagree with some of the other talking heads out there. But it's the reason why Derek and I we get along.
We vibe.
And so I'm really excited about this video we're about to do, because we're going to go through some of the stuff that people say are bad, or oh, that thing sucks with 3 X's. It's like, well, why don't you shave your neckbeard, and why don't we actually just discuss what makes an army tick? Because we're going to share with some gold with you guys today. We're going to share some really interesting things, and we're going to talk about why some of these detachments that might not be perceived as obviously the best can really upset people if you pilot them correctly. Not every detachment needs to run the same way, and that's what we're going to get in today. So I'm freaking excited to do it. So let's do it, baby.
So yeah, I mean, we vibed so well on the last video we did. That was the first time we actually did a collab, which was sick, on your channel, which we'll give the description below so you guys can check that out. I'm sure you guys are already subbed to both of us. If not, fucking hit the subscribe button.
What are you doing?
But yeah, we talked about 10th edition, what we liked, what we didn't like, stuff like that. It worked so well. Like such positive comments. It was great. Finally got to get the collab going. So we're going to do another one for you guys. But yeah, this one's going to be going over kind of what me and Crump have been talking about like, we love running shit that's off meta. Like we want to try stuff and have fun with it and be like, hey, look, it works. So I have some of my list that I've been running. A couple of them were 1 GTs, and I played one of them in Worlds. And then Crumpin has his own 3 lists that we're going to be going over, kind of like not fully in depth because we don't have all day to go over them, but we'll probably make a separate video of like each one specifically. I'm sure I already have them on our website or on our channel as well. But we're going to start off at the top with 3 of our lists. Crumpin, do you want to start off with your first list, which is going to be Tyranids? We'll start off with that one, and then let's go. Let's talk about that. So we got the background up. Let me pull up the list, which we got it. All right, cool. So we're going to post these lists down in the description below, but we'll go over it one by one for you guys. So yeah, take it over.
Thanks, man. So yeah, this is obviously not an exhaustive list. Guys, there are a ton of detachments in this game that are actually really good, but they're not necessarily obviously good. So before we jump to this, let me just quickly define something. People want to play the meta list because they think that's the best list. But let me explain to you what the meta list is. Ready for it? Here it is. And please, Derek, if you disagree with me, jump in here. But the meta list is just a good list that's piloted by a popular player.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
That's all the meta list is, guys.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other armies out there that can counter said meta list. It's important to recognize what the meta list is, because sometimes that can influence how you're going to build your army to counter it. But you don't have to run the freaking meta list. You don't have to. There's so much good stuff in this game that if you just dive in and use your critical thought skills, you can really discover it. So let's freaking talk about this army I've got put up here on this subterranean assault Tyranids. So I caught a lot of flack for this because I really hate it when grown men like bitch and moan on the internet like 12-year-old girls. And I was in a Discord one day. Oh my god, I just can't handle it. So I was on a Discord, and so people were just complaining about Tyranids. And not all Tyranid players are like this, but this particular group of people were like this, and I just couldn't handle it. So I said, screw it. I'm going to start playing Tyranids, and I'm just going to show everyone that even like Tyranids are freaking good. Like they have really, really incredible mechanics. And so what I did is I built this subterranean list out, and I started playing it on Tryhard Teams, which if you guys don't know, it's a online teams league between very high level players for the most part. And it's basically constantly running. And I like 20-0'd or like 80 to 30 point scores, basically like 5 matches in a row. And then I did it in like a bunch of different scrims for our team. And so then I started running it in singles, and I was a little frustrated because I almost got a golden ticket, but I got knocked out by my own client, which is hilarious. Which I felt like a proud Papa Bear. But let's talk about
you
this
had
list
to be
here.
proud for that.
Super proud, but I was also pissed, right? Because he was running my Dark Angels list, which I developed and popularized.
Yep.
So yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, so this is Subterranean Assault, and Subterranean Assault has a really cool ability that what they do is effectively the entire army gets 6-inch deep strikes, more or less. So whenever their tunnel snakes, their burrowers, which are Raveners or Molochs or Trigons, come out of deep strike, they create a tunnel marker, which is just a 40 millimeter disc. And then from that point on, any unit in your army can come out of reserves wholly within 9 inches of that disc and outside of 6 inches of your opponent.
Wow.
It's army-wide 6-inch deep strike effectively.
So
it doesn't matter if they're in strat reserves or not.
I'm going to ask you questions along the way because I don't play Space Wolves Tyranids, and I only play my boy Kiva with Iron Hand. So like with this list, you basically deep strike one model, and then your entire army can come in outside 6 inches of your opponent.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. And why is it not played more? That sounds dumb.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's real dumb that people don't play it more because it's freaking incredible. People think that Tyranids have bad rules, bad data sheets. They don't. They've actually got great rules and data sheets. What they don't have is they don't have like the same elite and bruisers that other armies have. Like they don't have a Terminator style model. They don't have a Death Round style model. And that's very true, but they've got other stuff. And if surprise Tyrannifexes that you can't screen is kind of a big deal. I'm just saying. There's a really great guy named Alec. Oh man, I can't remember his last name right now, but he went like 6-1 at a UKTC Super Major with us the other week, and he had like 3 Tyrannifexes that were all getting 6-inch deep strikes everywhere.
Shit.
But anyway, yeah, dude, it's crazy. So to complicate matters further, what this list does is it uppy downies 2 of its snake style units every single turn. So what I did is I looked through the Tyranid Codex and I went, hey, what unit really likes coming out of reserves? Molochs. Molochs have this ability that when they come out of reserves, every enemy unit within 12 inches effectively takes D3 mortal wounds. And if you know how big their base is, it's a Knight's base.
Yeah.
That's a lot of units that are going to be within 12 inches of it. And I can have 3 of those things, and I can uppy downy 2 of them a turn.
God.
Which means like you just auto win against any T3 one wound model army in the game. Like you basically can't lose against them. Like I don't care if it's Guard, I don't care if it's freaking Eldar, Dark Eldar, even a lot of Tau builds. Like it just brutalizes them. So that's what I started with. I put in 3 Molochs because they can uppy downy, they can just reproc this, and that means I can turn 1 deep strike with them if I go second, right? Then I took the hyper-adapted Raveners because they allow it. And those guys, if you didn't know what hyper-adapted Raveners are, those guys crush. They get sustained hits to the entire unit. They uppy downy because they're going to attach to normal Raveners. It's going to be 33 attacks at strength 6, AP 2, twin linked with sustained hits, reroll and hit rolls of 1. And they can just come out of 6 inches and charge.
Are they the new ones that just came out that have like a scout or infiltrate or anything like?
They don't have a scout. What they have is they have a free rapid ingress or free heroic intervention, even if you've already spent it on someone else. So what you could do, I mean, well, they're pretty expensive. It's 185 points, and then to attach them to normal Raveners is an extra 125 points. But there's a reality where maybe you do that. But they are pretty squishy, right? 3 wounds, T5, 4 armor save. So they are pretty squishy. But they absolutely smash. So that's what this list effectively does. And I was on stream doing this at a Golden Ticket event, and I was playing against a Blood Angel player, and I felt kind of bad. He's a really good player. I really enjoyed him, but I told him what the army did, but he wasn't. You know, there's a difference between knowing and understanding, right? So just having all those things deep strike down and just like, all right, 2 Sanguinary Guard died to just Molochs coming out of reserves. Landed the 6-inch charge with a freaking Screamer Killer, because people think Screamer Killers are terrible units. But when they come out of 6-inch and get 6-inch deep strikes, they aren't terrible units anymore because it's not hard to move them anymore. So Subterranean Assault gives some of the craziest rules in the entire game in 1 detachment, and it's absolutely bonkers. Uh, and then they can even take this even further because there's a stratagem to teleport any unit in your entire army from one of the tunnel markers to another tunnel marker. So, Derek, let me present you with this, and then I think I can leave off because I think I've made my point about what this detachment does. If you're playing me, and I have 2 Molochs on the table, and I have 3 units of these Raveners on the table, and it's turn 3, you finish your turn 2, you pass it to me, and I uppy 5 of my units, and then in my turn, I bring 3 Molochs down to cause D3 mortar wounds. 3d3 mortar wounds, basically, to every single enemy unit within 12 inches of them. And then I 6-inch deep strike 3 other units. And then I also teleport a unit of zone throws from where on the battlefield 6 inches away from you. And these zone throws are going to have both lethal hits and sustained hits and ignore cover, hitting on 2s, rerolling hit rolls of 1 with the last cannons. What do you think that's going to do?
I'm thinking of like every list that I played recently, and like, how do I stop this list?
You don't. You literally, like, you survive it and you punch it hard enough. So it does have some weaknesses, like it because it doesn't do the burst damage, so it really struggles to things like Chaos Knights, because it just doesn't necessarily have the burst damage. But yeah, bro, it's brutal. Not to mention, this is Tyranids, and Tyranids have a great army rule. I know a lot of people hate it, and I'm going to catch a lot of flack in the comment section for saying it, but I don't care. I freaking said it, dude. I'm giving people battle shocks at -3 with this list.
What stacks with the minuses? Like, you have the standard -1.
So standard -1, then -1 for being within 6 inches of Synapse, and then -1 for being within 6 inches of the Death Leaper. I'm giving people battle shocks at -3 with this list. Wow. It is disgusting. So people think that Shadow in the Warp is a bad roll, but that's because you're just using Shadow in the Warp. If you set it up correctly and you give your opponent battle shocks at -3, it's a lot bigger of a deal. So I've said my piece. Subterranean Assault, freaking awesome army. I took it to a GT. I went 3 1-on-1 with it. Unfortunately, I ran into my client, and he was running my Dark Angels list, my Wrath of the Rock list, and it does hard counter the Tyranid list, and he beat me. So, and then I ran into a Votan player who got freaking really, really lucky and was able to draw me. So, but I felt great about the list. I'd love to play it more. It's an absolute blast. And like I said, we've been on some online leagues where it's just been an absolute nightmare. So, Tyranid players, enjoy it.
It looks super fun. Honestly, like, after Orcs, I need to figure out what army I'm going to be going into. And if you keep shit like this, like, that looks super fun.
Dude, let's do a match stream. We should set up a match. Do you play on TTS at all?
Yeah, so that would be cool to, like, just do a live stream of, like, us 2 playing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That. But
we do one.
It sucks because, like, I love playing Horde, but I can't play Horde on TTS. I did a Chaos Cult stream against somebody in Belgium. It took 7 hours. It was not fun at all.
Yeah, no, thank you.
All right, so
I play with clock on TTS.
Yeah, that was brutal. All right, so my first list is going to be our Orcs list with Green Tide. Now, if you guys haven't seen, I mean, if you've seen anything on my channel in the past month, it's been all Orcs all the time. So me playing Orcs with Green Tide was like, I just fell into it. Boys. And that's kind of like how we started too with the Orcs as well. So when I go into a new faction, I'm like, all right, what army has like a Horde thing, right? So Green Tide was obviously the Horde thing for Orcs. So I was like, all right, let me just start buying everything I need for Green Tide. So I went on like FLG, bought all of their 20 bag Orc boys, and just bought like 100 of them. And then I used like a bunch of store credit. I got gas given to me by one of my Patreons. So like I had everything I needed, and I just needed to paint it all. So I painted it all in like a week and a half with me and my wife, which is clutch. And then we ran it. And I was like, holy shit, like, yes, the
bag of unpainted Orc boys right here.
Baggy O boys I got from actually another Orc dude that I play in the local meta. He basically just dumps them out in a baggie, and I was like, that I'm doing that. Like, when I play Orcs, that is what I'm doing. So I have 5 bags of Orcs, just dumping them out. But yeah, so this list did absolutely amazing. And I can't recommend that. If you guys are getting into 40k, I would always try to run a Horde type list to just master the movement. Master screening, master pile-in, master consolidate, master for the fight phase. And if you can do that, you can literally play any single army out there, because you know what you're going to be doing and what your opponents can be doing and what kind of like you're going to be going against, because you're like, hey, I'm going to wrap it over there. Well, let me try and screen out over there because that would be a good place for me to wrap it. So you're almost like preempting what's going to happen before it even happens, because you're so used to doing it as a Horde meta. And if you're playing like a half a list, like you go from 125 models to 50 models, well, now you can use those 50 models to the best of your ability. Like that 10-man cultist unit that you have in the backfield, screening out your home field objective, you can literally screen out a quarter of the table with 10 models. And you don't get that with a normal list like Custodes. You get that with running a Hordes type list to screen out 2 inches and then triangle at the end. Like if you don't know 2 inches and triangle at the end, that's a problem. Going at the end of 10th edition, like you should know what I'm saying when I say 2 inches, triangle at the end. Like screen out so much.
Trust me, the tip counts, baby. It totally counts.
So this list, this is probably the third variation of my green tide list. First, it started with 120 boys, then went down to 110 boys, then went down to 100 boys. Now it's down to 90. So it's kind of like going down to what you really need. And this list stops primary the entire game, gets primary the entire game, and kind of pushes and fights in your opponent's battlefield or your opponent's deployment zone the entire game. So you kind of set up, I have a whole bunch of videos on this and how to run green tide in general, but we have Ball Snicker out, the uppy downy guy. He is just amazing. He's in almost every single orc list. You kind of keep him screened. He's infiltrate, lone up, just doesn't die, and his only objective is to uppy downy and do something in your opponent's deployment zone at the end of the game. Like that's literally all he's doing. Screen out, uppy downy, boom, he made up his points. Gazgul Thraka, him being able to join 20 boys just kills almost anything statistically in the game. And he uses the slingshot method. So you have the 20 boys, 18 of them are on the left side. Him and mccauley are on the right side with the pain boy, and you kind of use your 20 boys to make a 4-inch charge, but then somehow Gazgul winds up 12 inches over here. So then he goes into the unit that you really want to kill, and then they just tie up everything else while being 2 OPSEC on the point with the 5-up feeling of pain with the pain boy. Pain boy also gives you the full rerolls, advance and charge, and then 2 war bosses are an addition that I added after my first test runs because hitting on 2s with boys is so much hitting than hitting on 3s. And again, the same thing, they're the ones that do the killing, not the boys. So the war bosses with the extra 5 attacks, charging in, and then killing whatever you want to kill, while the other boys kind of tie up everything else. The weird boy is the secret to the list. The uppy downy for free, or essentially a 2+, which I fail all the time, but the uppy downy, that having that in your list, almost any list you build, you always want to have an uppy downy option if you can. And the weird boy is a huge option to do that because in all, every orc unit has a 5-up invuln save essentially for 10 or more boys. So you have a 5 invuln for everything in the army. And then killing a 10-man boys with a weird boy is honestly really hard to do. And then if you don't kill all of them, you just spend a CP, bring back D3 plus 2 boys, uppy downy them, and then go somewhere else on the table and just whatever. So that combined with a +1 to charge out of deep strike with a reroll for free for 1 CP, that weird boy late game uppy downies comes down, makes an 8-inch charge with a reroll, and steals your opponent's home field to get a solid 5 points at the end. Like he is so clutch in every single game that I played. Also, I found out today that I never used, but you can fall back with the weird boy and then jump. Did you know that? Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I just found that out. So if they actually are tied up in combat, you can literally just fall back because it's at the end of the movement phase and then jump somewhere else, which is kind of nuts. And then Zod, my boy, amazing. 20 Gretchen, steals every home field known to man. We got 3 20 boys, War Boss Gaz, 1, 2, 3 10-man boys. Usually one of them starting in the truck, so that way turn 1 they can move out on an objective, do cleanse, try and make it sticky, area denial, like they're your go forward turn 1. Then the other 10-man boys hops in it, and then the third 10-man boys with the weird boy. So that's kind of how you set it up. And then a battle wagon for a 20-man boys with a war boss to just kind of run up and here's Wah. And then the other 20-man boys with the war boss off the table. 20 Gretchen, obviously. 10 Gretchen to screen on your backfield. Commandos, because they're commandos, they're amazing. And then 1 10-man or 5-man Storm Boys to go into reserves and come down late game for a action or whatever. That's their whole focus. So I built this list solely because of Horde, but also to steal primary, get primary, and have so many units to do actions with that you're going to 100, as close as to 100 as much as possible with your secondaries. So if you can deny primary and get secondaries, you're going to win the game almost all the time. So that's my my first list of not a lot of people running Green Tide. Maybe the amount of models scares some people, but again, I'm telling you, if you get any type of horde army, you're going to be better at the game. Hands down.
Yeah, so if I may, real fast,
Yep.
I know one of the criticisms that people always give about this list is like, yeah, but how do you kill things? It's like, okay, well, the reality is you don't win Warhammer by killing things.
Mhm.
You win Warhammer by creating a victory point differential in your favor. And
Yep.
the best way to do that is by scoring primary and denying primary.
Yep.
And that's what this list does really, really well. And like that being said, you still have like a reroll wound roll strat in this detachment. Like you can still kill stuff. Okay, you're not the most killy army in the game, but you have 40 plus OC on all these objectives, and you're guaranteed to regenerate 6 OC out of each one with a minimum with a strat. And if you attach pain boys to those squads, you can also regenerate an additional D3 models each time you do that, or well, at least one time you do that.
Yeah.
So the list wins by scoring points, and people stop getting so focused on killing, start getting focused on winning. This is not an HP system. This is a victory point system.
Yep. If you kill every secondary unit that they have, you're going to win the game. Because you can just ignore the tanks. Like, their tanks are not going to kill the 29 boys unless it's an executioner from Space Marines. But it's like they're not going to kill you because you have a 5 Binvold save across your entire army, plus a horde move I forgot to mention. So when you're getting stuck in, you now have to be fearful of a fucking horde move to then just move up and get stuck in again. So it's got every strat that's going to make a horde scary. And like you said, it also kills because it has a full rerolls to wound strat. You have the lethals with mccauley. You have like hitting on 2s with all your boys. AP1. AP1 is like 1,000 knives killing you. Like that's literally what it is. So here's a bajillion attacks, lethals, and then full rerolls to wound. So here's Satans, like they just die. You just make 50 fucking 4-up saves, like go. And then yeah, you just again win on the 2 OC primary across the board.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's my first list. So
I love it. I thought Green Tide was actually really fun. I thought that was a really fun list. So next one for me, we're gonna run Hammer of Averni, which is an Iron Hand specific detachment. Now this was one of those detachments that when it was released with a new character, and everyone's like, "Oh, bitchin', a new character!" And then they read the rules, and it read like it was a carbon copy of First Company, which is like the Terminator detachment for Space Marines, which everyone likes to say is the worst detachment in the game, and they're all wrong when they say that. But Hammer of Averni has some very, very, very important distinctions from First Company Task Force. What Hammer of Averni does is it gives you reroll wound rolls of 1 against your Oath of Moment target. And that by itself doesn't sound that great. But then what you realize is you say, oh, wait a second, this is a Codex compliant Space Marines, which means you're also +1 to wound with Oath of Moment. Yeah. So now when you're shooting with, if it's Vindicators or Lancers or like anything with good shooting, you're wounding basically everything in the game on 2s, rerolling wound rolls of 1 as an army rule. And then you read a little bit further and you go, the new character Canik Var, who's really good. I'll explain him in just a moment. He gives you a second Oath of Moment target when you destroy your first.
Mini Gilliman.
Which is, well, it's similar to Gilliman, but the way he does it, I think, is actually a little bit better because after you destroy your unit, any unit he can see becomes the new Oath of Moment target. So you don't have to declare at the beginning of the turn. You get actually to see how things develop. Yep. Right, which I find very relevant. So anyway, I built this list and I actually took it to a GT this past weekend that I went to. It was a Golden Ticket event. I went 4-1 with it, and it was fantastic. And honestly, I was playing against the guy who won it, and he was running a Necrons build, and I was in a position where I had to make a 5-inch rerollable charge. I failed it. I had the way back in, and all I had to do was kill a single Locust Destroyer with a Redemptor Dreadnought. And I didn't. So, with Oath of Moment, hitting on 2s, winning on 2s, rerolling hit rolls, rerolling wood rolls,
0.02% chance of him winning. And
I think it was like a 0.02 something percent of that. But anyway, it happened, but that's okay because the list was freaking awesome. And honestly, he was also a fantastic player to put himself in a position where he could take advantage of these swings, right? Mm-hmm. So it was a really, really great trial for the army, and there are a few switches I'm going to make to it. But the point is, this army is really good. It tells us a few things. It says, hey, we're going to hit really, 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 really hard when we go into something. But we can make it even worse. So Canik Var gives his unit sustained hits, and he attaches to Terminators. Canik Var also gives a unit, Scout 6. Terminators are notoriously slow, but now they Scout 6. So now they have a turn 1 11-inch move basically guaranteed. That unit of Assault Terminators with Thunder Hammers now have sustained hits against basically anything, but if it's against monster vehicles, it's lethal hits, so it swaps. So what I do is I take 7 hammers and 3 claws. Now I have a stratagem that gives me either sustained hits or lethal hits. So now my big Terminator brick has both sustained and lethal hits against everything that it hits in the entire game, with full rerolls to hit from Oath of Moment with +1 to wound and rerolling wound rolls of 1.
Yeah, kill anything.
This unit one-tapped the Necron Warriors blob without Oath of Moment.
Oh my god.
Just to be clear about what that is. It is an absolutely filthy unit. Now in this detachment, it's even better, because we have a stratagem that when we are charged, our Terminators can be -1 damage.
And they're 4
So there's
wounds,
no
right?
movement shenanigans. 4 wounds. So there's no movement shenanigans. There's no advance and charge. There's no fallback shoot and charge. But when you charge me, I'm -1 damage, and then I will obliterate you, because this is one of the hardest hitting units in the entire game. And it gets better. We have a stratagem for uppy downy for Terminators, so you can reposition if you need to.
Yep.
So what this detachment really does is it really puts you into a hyper durability with crazy hitting potential without the movement shenanigans, but you kind of have the movement shenanigans. So I decided to really lean into this, and I brought 3 Redemptor Dreads, who are also coincidentally -1 damage, and 2 Tech Marines, which heal the -1 damage models. And it gets one last real trick here, is Canikvar is going to co-lead this Terminator squad with an Ancient and Terminator armor who has the Steel Fall enhancement, which lets you resurrect a Terminator. What this does is it makes sure that that unit is basically always +1 to hit. I have another strat that can make them +1 to wound if I'm not momented. And now I can resurrect a body. So what I do with it is I take this unit, I shove them inside the central ruin, I expose 1 Terminator on the central objective. And I don't care if you shoot me, because you only get 1 activation. Because I'm only going to let you see the 1 model. I'll kill that first, and then I'll resurrect on the central objective, and I'll score it.
Yeah. That's
and
smart.
You can't deny me doing that by putting 1 lone up on the objective, because I'm OC2. So you're going to have to put at least something relevant on the objective to deny it to me, which I then get to kill.
Yep.
So it's an incredible unit, army. I still have a unit of Desolation Marines. Desolation Marines love +1 wound and reroll wound rolls of 1, because that means any guardsman, any elf, any T3 1 wound model in the entire game is instantly deleted by my Desolation Marines, which means I never have to trade for trash, ever. If I want to shoot into Jane Zar and her 5 Howling Banshees, I can, and they die. It doesn't cost me anything other than 1 oath, because the second oath is going to come up as soon as I kill them with those Desolation Marines. So it's a brutal army. It's incredibly powerful. I'm going to continue building it. Some people have told me they think it's better in Gladius. I disagree. The Canik Barbrick is just so over the top in this detachment. And it's so impossible to deal with that I've just had an absolute blast with it. I've played it exactly 5 times, and each one of those 5 times was at the tournament I played it this weekend. In my tournament, I had 4 WTC players I played against. My opponent's win rate percentage was 76%, if you guys know what that means.
God.
So I had 0 easy games in that matchup. That means all of my opponents, the worst they did, I had 1 guy who went 3-2, and the other 3 went 4-1, and the other guy won the tournament. So just so you know, it wasn't a scrub pathway. I highly recommend you guys try this video, this army out.
60% win rate for your opponents is very good. At the end of a tournament, if you have 60%, you're like, all right, they played good people. You had a 76% win rate, which means everybody who played could have won the tournament. That's exactly that's insane. And against this list. So again, looking at this list, I just played this against Keevil yesterday, actually. A little bit different variation. He had only 1 Redemptor and 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts. This one has 3 fucking Redemptors, all -1 damage. Just super tanky. And he still had the 10 Tyranids. But what other detachment could you run 10 Like, if you love Terminators, the new models, like, they are sick. What other detachment allows you to do this and just be a bully the entire game? Because also with the banner, like, you don't want to shoot them. Like, it mentally messes up your opponent.
You 4 extra inches of movement.
Yeah, you're like, shit, they could just res. Like, no matter what I put into them, I'm like, I don't want to shoot them. Usually you just chip them down. You might kill 1 or 2 throughout the game or the turn. And then by turn 3, there are only like 5 left. But no, it's like, you don't even want to put anything into that unit, because then you're just going to res. So, and then you didn't mention that, like, with the sticky objective, sticky, and then you just go somewhere else.
Casual.
Sticky objective goes somewhere else. Now, what you didn't mention, though, what stood out to me the most in this is the Calidus Assassin. Another uppy downy vect that you just use strictly for secondaries and vecting to screw up your opponent
actually,
CP so much.
I'm really glad you brought her up because I should have mentioned this and I didn't. So thank you so much for bringing her up. Most people, in my opinion, use her wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What I use her for is I use her for screening.
Okay, no, it's not what I was gonna say.
Yeah. So if you look at my list, I only have 12 units in this, and it's really only 10 because the 2 tech marines are basically glued to a dreadnought. So it's a very low unit count army, but most of these armies you can't play that way because you just don't have the bodies to screen with. But the Calidus in my battle turn 1, 2, and 3, I don't need her on the battlefield. So she is screening that hole that I have nothing to screen with. And then after battle round 3, I don't give a shit about screening because you're on the table. So then she's able to go, and then she can bring her Vector Warrior to bear. Then she can go get my secondaries and stuff. But the way I play, I don't care about scoring secondaries. My entire focus whenever I play is exclusively on scoring and denying primary. So secondaries are almost an afterthought for me. So that's why I utilize her more for screening because her ability to reposition is unparalleled. But later in the game, of course, if she can drop down and get me 7 points behind enemy lines, establish locus, I'll take it. But
usually her late game is deadly. Like if you don't deal with her the first 3 turns and you can't get to her, like she's gonna fuck you up because late game you only have 1 TP usually to your name. So if she then just comes down outside like in 12, you can't do anything. You can't interrupt. You can't heroic. You can't armor contempt. You can't do anything. So now your Terminators are even more killy. So it's like having her. I think every Imperial army, if you can bring a Calidus assassin, just try and fit her in because she is just so good. And we sell her. If you guys are interested, we sell Calidus assassins. Let me know. Hit me up on Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a really good list. That's strong. Nothing like my next list. Do you know anything about Kroot, sir?
I know a lot about Kroot. I've played him quite a few times, and I really, really like it. It's not my playstyle, so I won't run it, but I've played against it quite a few bit. I've got a few clients running it right now, and yeah, dude, it's sick.
So the Kroot list to me, I've played. I won a GT with this list.
Oh damn!
It was just I said I was gonna do it. I finished off last year with Death Guard, and I was like, all right, my first GT of this year, let's fucking put Kroot on the table. So we put Kroot on the table finally, prove that we can do it and win a GT with it. And this list is just kind of similar to the Orcs, except it doesn't kill as much. This is more the mindset of like being super annoying to deal with. 2 OPSEC everywhere. You still have the res ability. You have the uppy downy. You can kind of stab them a little bit with the guns and 1 damage on everywhere. But mainly it's to deny primary and just be super annoying on the battlefield. The main thing is all the Kroot infantry have stealth. So just built-in stealth. So everything that's going to shoot at them is already -1 to hit. Awesome. There's a strat to get lone op 18. So if you do have to shoot me, and that's for any Kroot, do have to shoot me, well, now you have to be close to me to get to me to shoot me, or else you can't do anything. So like that's usually for the Rampagers and like the bigger models. But also the 5-up built-in invuln save. That is also the same as like the Green Tide. So you can kind of see the same strategy here is like they have a 5-up invuln. So you need more shit to go into them to actually kill them. Combined with the stealth, now they're even harder to chew down, and they're 2 OPSEC on everything. So 5-up invuln, 6-up in the in combat, and then if they hurt you, they have better killing power. So they get +1 to hit if you're wounded, and then +1 to wound if you're at below half strength. So you can really bring down bigger targets with all these like smaller attacks, with the amount of volume with the guns and melee and stuff like that. Some of the strats that make it so good is be able to bring a full 20-man back. That's very rare. So you have this big 20-man Kroot unit with the free strat War Shaper. So the War Shaper gives a free CP. So you're going to be able to either throw a grenade, do the lone op 18, and then you can spend 2 CP once that whole unit dies to then put them into reserves. So once they actually die, you can then just keep them off the table. And now it threatens your opponent for the rest of the game to try and screen out this 20-man unit that you're probably going to be rapid ingressing on turn 4 or turn 5. So
like obnoxious.
It's so brutal. So I keep reminding them like, hey, I got 20 Kroot in reserve. They're like, fuck. So then they have to keep their guys back to try and screen out. And then at that point, it's like it's null and void because they already did their job by keeping you back, screening out this 20-man unit. Because like if you can wrap it on turn 4, or let's say you're going second, you wrap it on turn 5. Well, now you're going to be able to steal their home field like almost 100% of the time. So once they die, you 100% spend the CP, and now they're just in reserves. They don't have to come back on next turn. They're just there. Everything's 2 OPSEC. You have lone spears, which are the guys that move up, shoot 18 inches for some reason for their javelin, and then they move back 6 inches, which have lone op. One of them has no deep strike within 12, so physically can't die to anything that's going to come down like via deep strike.
Of reserves.
Yeah, like it's insane. But they also buff your entire army. So they just hit something with their D6 blast javelins. If they hit something, everything in the army that's Kroot gets full rerolls to hit.
So
like
good.
It is insane the amount of volume that this list gives out. Again, death by 1,000 cuts. That's what this list does. So it's like your Marines, hey, here's 43 up saves. I don't have any AP. Just make 3 up saves for me. Go. I've killed Terminators. Like, make 42 up saves. Some of them are going to die, right? There is a strat to give 1 AP to everything else that shoots them. So let's say they shoot something like a big Terminator brick. Every full rerolls to hit on that Terminator brick. Then something else shoots them. You can then spend a CP, and then everything that shoots that brick for the rest of the phase, plus 1 AP. So everything just kind of stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks with all Kroot units. The War Shaper gives the Feel No Pain to the unit, so that makes that 20-man unit even harder to kill. All right, so, and then you can see the Carnivore. So we have Carnivore, 10-man, 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 10-man. So 5 10-mans, and then 1 20-man for the specific res comeback. But all the 10-mans are doing the same thing where they're screening, they're moving up, they're stealing primary. If I go into like a Bloodthirster or something like that, I'm like, how many attacks does Bloodthirster have? 8. All right, so not 10. Cool. Here's 10 Kroot. I'm going to LOC you even after you kill, 8 Kroot because I have a 6 up invult save. So you're kind of using that mindset to launch them like meat shields at your opponent just to deny primary. And win essentially on that. They're sticky, which I forgot to mention. The entire troops all have sticky, so you're just sticking everything across the table. I played this one Grey Knight list one time where it was the 3 objectives in no man's land, and we were basically fighting on the other side of the objectives in his deployment zone, and all 3 were sticky. But I had nothing on the objectives because he can't uppy downy because I'm screening out the entire table, and I'm now off of all the objectives, and I'm in his deployment zone, and he can't get past me with his Grey Knights. Like you just can't go anywhere. It was embarrassing, but proved how good this list is. Kroot Hounds was a addition at the end right before the GT. Have you ever seen or played Kroot Hounds before?
Yeah.
They are the secret. What was I? The unit that nobody ever uses or plays that basically won me the GT 3 out of 5 of my games. Like they get to advance and charge. They get OC if they're within a character. They're 40 points for 5 bodies that have stealth and a 5 up invuln save. So you have to do something against them. And they're speed 12. So like they're all over, and they're one of the best screening units in the game.
And they scout 7 as well, right?
Yeah. So all the Kroot also forgot to say, you're deploying on the line. Yeah, you're deploying on the line. Everything is stealth. Everything has lone up 18 for 1 CP. And then you scout 7 with your entire army. So I've taken pictures from over top. I do deployment, and then I take a picture after scout, and everything is just everywhere. God. All right. So we just keep mentioning all the extra shit that this list has. 3x3 Rampagers units. You don't need the 6-mans in this detachment. The 6-mans are cool, but you're never going to be able to get into combat with all 6 models to try and do the mortal wounds on the impact. So usually having 3-3-man of the Rampagers, they're just annoying. Like they're just running up or moving up, throwing grenade, charging, doing an impact, and then piling and consolidating, just being here's 5 wound bodies, all over the place. One of them is going to be free rapid from the stealth suits. Did they get rid of that? I forgot.
No, you still have that. The
stealth suits still have the homing beacon. Okay, so the stealth suits.
Yeah, they still have it.
Yeah, this is right before the nerf.
The new guys.
But the stealth suits have the homing beacon, so you can actually free rapid a Kroot unit, which is usually the Rampagers, within 3 of the homing beacon. So they're going to just get a free
Sweet,
rapid.
great.
So that's free CP. You have the war tracker for the free CP. Like CP management is very good with this attachment. Vespid have the uppy downy. They're screening out the backfield. 2 Riptides was kind of needed. They're mainly going into 3 wound models like Terminators and stuff like that. They don't usually kill tanks. You kind of just ignore the tanks in this detachment, but they're very scary for Death Shroud and like Terminators and stuff like that. They have to be wary of the Riptides. They're 2 up, 4 up, so it's just a tanky unit that just kind of sits back and waits. And then once they present something that I can actually kill, then they come out and do something. Them late game, very, very scary. Pathfinder team, we actually had 2 of them in this list. So one of them is kind of your Kamehameha dudes, like starting like right on the line, scouting forward or scouting back, and then the other one is like usually near the other objective, so that way they can be used for turn 1, scouting forward or scouting back. 3x2 riders, so these are the gun guys on the back of the Krutaks. They surprisingly shoot very, very well. So full rerolls to hit because of the spear chucker. You have AP1 built in, so AP2 if you do the strat, and then they're strength 7, so they're going to wound most things on 3s, and then if they're below half strength, they're getting +1 to wound. Tanks, they're wounding everything on 5s, but if they're below half strength, they're wounding it on 4s. So they actually surprisingly do a lot of damage into a lot of stuff. So they are like here's rapid 4 shots each, here's 8 shots going into you for each squad, full rerolls to hit, +1 to hit, and then +1 to wound into that target. So they surprisingly hit really, really hard. So yeah, this list, another horde list, but it is surprisingly very, 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 very good. Even in the current meta with the Satans, like they are just going to 1 damage the Satans down to death. Like they're just.
If you want to counter Satans, put OC down. Those guys have 4 OC.
2 Kroot, and you just tied a Satan.
2 Gretchen, my friend. You're Gretchen, Team Green now. That's what I don't want to hear. You are officially Team Green, so you got to represent. Okay.
Yeah. So this list, guys, it is very, very good and good in the current meta. Again, if you can run this type of list, just be annoying. Like you don't have to charge at your opponent. You can kind of just sit back, and you're stealth everywhere. Even in combat, guys, like if you're in a combat with a vehicle, you still get stealth. Like, so they're -2 essentially, like -1 if they have +1 to hit, still -1. Like it's still very, very good. And the EMP grenade, forgot about that. You can throw a grenade 8 inches away against a vehicle. Now that vehicle is also -1 to hit, -1 ballistic skill. So now it's -1 ballistic skill and stealth stack. So now you're -2 against like a Titan or a vehicle, like a Rogel Darn is hitting you on 5s. Not good.
A triple Gatman to spoiler list, perhaps.
Yes. EMP is hilarious.
Yeah, so this is awesome. I love hearing that. So guys, make sure you're taking notes on this, because what Derek just did for you is he just basically described an alternative path to how to win Warhammer. Because what we're all actually trying to solve is how to win Warhammer, right? When you listen to any of the guys, any of the talking heads, and they're all talking about this is the craziest stat check ever. It's just because that's what helps you win Warhammer. But if you don't need the craziest, Satan body to win Warhammer, you can just not let your opponent score primary, and you'll freaking win. You don't have to kill anything. You can literally kill nothing. He can't win if he can't score primary. So make sure you take notes on that. Derek, this last one I have is gonna be very exciting for some people.
Waiting for it.
And some other people are gonna be very annoyed that I say this, because they're gonna say, "Oh, this guy thinks that we all just suck at Warhammer." It's like, well, I don't know about all of you, but just kidding. Guys, the entire reason we make jokes, but the entire reason why we're doing these things is to help you guys improve your game of Warhammer and help you expand your mindset so that you can be better, so that you can continue to improve. That's why we do this. We do this for you. So guys, this is the Champions of Fenris. This is a Grotmus detachment for the Space Wolves, and I might be the first person in the history of the world to mention this detachment after everyone immediately dismissed it on day 1 during the Grotmus from 2 years ago. Champions of Fenris has a rule that says Terminators get +1 OC. Then it has another rule that says at the end of your opponent's charge phase, if they're within 3 inches of you, you may charge them. What this means is that you cannot be move blocked. You just can't be move blocked. Now, a lot of people think that this is a pretty crappy detachment rule, because, oh, well, your opponents literally just stand 3.1 inches away from you. It's like, yeah, that's fine. But what does that mean when we dive into it? Well, what it means is that if I'm on an objective, you can't out OC me without charging me. You cannot out OC me without charging me. Because if you put your 40 points worth of aggression on the objective to out OC me, I'll charge you and kill your aggression, and I'll get a free 8 inches worth of movement that I can then use to charge you later on in your next turn.
Anybody or just Terminators?
This is for walkers and infantry.
So Bjorn, do you have Bjorn in there?
Bjorn, I don't have Bjorn in here. Now, this is something, this list that I have posted for you here, guys, is a list that I am currently working on. This is not complete. This is where my head is currently, and I'm going through trial runs with it. So far, results have been promising. All right, so let me read through the strats and the enhancements for you first off. We really only have one enhancement that we have taken in this detachment, and that is going to be the Wolves' Wisdom. I put this on the Wolfguard Battle Leader, who is leading the Head Takers. And this basically just extends their detachment rule from 3 inches to 6 inches.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, which is very powerful. Now remember, guys, if it's your charge phase and I charge you, that means you don't have the fight first bonus because you didn't charge.
Oh.
I don't have the fight first bonus either because you only get the charge bonus when you charge in your phase. However, that means we are fighting in the fight's normal step.
Oh,
Who fights first in the fight's normal step? The active player or the inactive player?
Oh, that's scary.
So I've messed around having like a Judiciary or Leading Blade Guard veteran doing it for the fight first ability. But then I realized, I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to basically fight first whenever I use this anyway. Because it would be in the fight normal step. So that's great.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful enhancement on the Head Takers who hit very, very, very hard. All right. Now, let's lead some of these stratagems, because a lot of these stratagems people don't quite think are great. The first one's obviously very good. The first one is you're shooting or fight phase, just get lethal hits or sustained hits. That's awesome. Like, that's just an amazing strat. You can use it in the fight phase or the shooting phase.
Yep.
They have another stratagem, which is in your opponent's command phase. Choose any Terminator unit from your army, and every enemy unit within 6 inches of you must take a battle shock. And they'll be subtracting 1 from that test if they're below half strength. Now, battle shocks, just by themselves, if you're having a 1 battle shock, okay, not the strongest ability. But if you're starting to spread this across multiple units, if you're getting modifiers to it, it can become extremely powerful. It can also just completely deny primary swings in a huge, huge way.
Is this in
super powerful?
Like any fight phase or your fight phase?
This is in your opponent's command phase, unfortunately.
Got it. Okay.
So it's for people who want to be brawling, who maybe want to be like falling back, shooting and charging with your Terminators and stuff like that. We'll get to that. Stalking Wolves, you just get stealth to an infantry unit. So now you have stealth Terminators, which is useful. Runes of Claiming, sticky objectives, and then onrushing Storm, uppy downy Terminators. So people don't really like the stratagems of this attachment, but let me, Derek, I'm going to present something to you here.
Got it.
All right. I'm going to deploy first, because screw you, I'm going to deploy first. I'm going to put my scouts on your natural expansion. And then I'm going to go first. And guys, I know you don't always go first. I recognize that. I'm just doing this for humor purposes. And then I'm going to put 11 Terminator bodies on your natural expansion, but behind terrain with OC2. And if you move within 3 inches of them, I'm going to charge you. You're never, ever going to hold your natural expansion. Because Space Wolves with Logan Grimmier get to deep strike turn 1.
Is he the one with Vect?
He also has Vect.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. That's why I asked for Bjorn. I thought Bjorn had Vect, but that might have been the last.
No, Bjorn gives you +1. Yeah, Bjorn. Yeah, Bjorn gives you +1 CP now.
Gotcha. Okay, my bad. So yeah. Logan Grimnar makes more sense because I thought Logan had Vect.
Yeah.
I thought
so. Logan allows you to have any unit in your army, or that is a Space Wolf unit, treat the battle round as 1 later. So turn 1, I can just drop down 10 Terminators led by Arjak, who has full rules to hit and wound against monsters, vehicles, and characters, or I could have it drop with Logan to do the same thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my next squad in my next turn, and I'm going to drop them on my objective. And then the only objective that you're going to be able to hold is going to be the center. Because you can kill my Terminators, but the amount of things you're going to have to put into those Terminators is going to be very severe, and they're about to get countercharged by the head takers. And then I also have 2 Lancers that get 3 shots instead of 2 shots each because I have Iron Priest right next to them, giving them rapid fire on their Lancer shots.
Yep.
So my 2 Lancers are enough to tap 2 massive battle tanks. This army hits real hard. It's got unbelievable primary control and bodies that do not die easily. Because remember, Wolfguard Terminators are -1 to be wounded if your strength is higher than their toughness. And in this detachment, I can also give them stealth. So now I have -1 to hit, -1 to wound armor contempt Terminators that you can't out OC. And also, they're going to have sustained 4 wounds. And also, they're going to have sustained hits or lethal hits whenever I want.
Damn.
It's a primary control army that is brutal to deal with. It does take a little finagling to use it, and you do have to have the testicular fortitude to plop them on the objective and understand that your opponent will be able to charge them. But you know what wants to charge 10 Terminators that have sustained hits and are -1 to be wounded and have armor contempt? And they have, like, what wants to do that?
Right.
What wants to do that? Like, nothing. Nothing wants to do that. They could just move out to shoot you, sure, but whatever they move out to shoot you with is going to have to be shooting Terminators that are -1 to be hit, -1 to be wounded with armor contempt and a 4 invulnerable save. And then whatever moves out to shoot you immediately dies to your rapid fire Lancers that only exist in this detachment or in this army of Space Wolves.
Mm.
It is a very, very interesting list. And I do have a little bit more development I want to work on, but I love it so far. It's been hurting people's feelings. But like I said, it requires the testicular fortitude to just put them out there. If you play cagey, it's not the best.
Yeah. I feel like this is kind of similar to the other Space Marine Iron Hands detachment. Like it's small in unit count, hits hard as fuck, very hard to counter, to kill. So like I feel like if
in different ways, yeah.
Yeah, if you have both of these, obviously if you can run one, you can run the other. So if you're good at the Iron Hands, you could definitely be good at this one as well. Just kind of different rule set. But yeah, Logan Grimnar is one of the scariest motherfuckers
dude, he's so good.
in the entire game.
He's so good, dude.
I hate seeing him on the table.
He's so good.
Anything with Vect, honestly, I hate seeing on the table. So.
And if you guys are curious about the Wolves are just there because sometimes you need bodies in places doing things.
40 points, baby.
Sometimes you want to go get Area Denial, and it's much better to send a 40-point unit to go get Area Denial than it is a 400-point unit. So that's why they're in there.
Yep. And again, if you know how to move block, like 40-point models, 5 of them, just so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did that to Keevel's Terminators yesterday with just bodies. So like I would just advance up, spread out all my bikes, and just screen his Terminators from getting past me like the entire game. So they just kept running into like bikes and bikes and bikes to finally get to the center objective. He finally got to the center objective by turn 5, but it wasn't there anymore because I already burnt it because of a Scorcher. So he couldn't get it ever. But yeah, if you can move block, 40-point wars.
That's why I always preach you bring infiltrators unless you're a freaking psychopath, because if you don't, then that will happen to you.
I won the infiltrating dice off too. So
classic.
Here's
classic.
5 commandos. Just stay over there.
Classic.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, dude. So this you say you're playing right now is like your main list.
I'm developing this one.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm currently developing this one. Like there will be shifts in the composition as I go along. But as of right now, it's this core here is working real dang well.
Nice. I love it. This is really cool. I would again, every time you're going over these lists, I'm like, fuck, what the hell do I do into this?
I like armies that love going first, because everyone wants to go second.
Mm-hmm.
But if I build an army that loves going first, I'm really excited whether I go first or second, because I still want to go second, right? Yeah. But most armies just want to go second, and that gives me an air of confidence when I'm on the table. Yeah. So I always try to build armies that love going first.
That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Alrighty. So my last list is the list I actually took to Worlds. This was a list me and Oscar, another Death Guard, who's number 2 Death Guard player in the world last year. We built this, and we wanted to not just bring Virulent Victorum or Morty's Hammer, or just the standard Death Guard list that every single person knows and can play against. When we're going up to a table, and I'm like, hey, do you know Taliban Summoner? And like, no. I'm like, yes. Like, that's already a win in the books right there. This is kind of the whole point of the whole video is like you want to be bringing stuff that people aren't used to and have questions about and take a little bit while to understand. You kind of know how to play an army against an army once you play it. So once I played somebody with Taliban Summoners, now they know what it does. But it's already over the game. Like the game's over. So you probably already won the game because they didn't know what the hell to do to counter it. They know how to counter Virulent Victorum. They know how to counter Morty's Hammer. They know how to counter the Plague Marine one. But they have no idea what the hell this does. They're like, wait, they can bring demons? I'm like, oh, yeah, in one detachment that nobody ever runs. So this detachment is still very good in the current meta. It again steals primary very well. It kind of is the same as your Tyranids one, where there's 6-inch deep strike everywhere. It has a enhancement on the Lord of Virulence. It's called Beckoning Blight. It's basically a 12-inch aura from him that you can bring in demons outside 6 of your opponent.
That's great.
Same thing.
That's really nice.
It's the same thing. So basically, I can deep strike the Lord of Virulence, and then I can then bring in all of the demons outside 6 of you, comboing that with the 6-inch deep strike Death Shroud. So essentially, you have like 5 to 7 units that you can come in on one turn and deep strike 6 inches away for your entire army.
Do these guys give out the contagion?
So
do the demons give out contagion?
The benefit of this attachment is the demons gain contagion within 7 inches of your Death Guard.
There
so
it
now
is.
Your Death Guard and demons have contagion, which contagion is already busted with what you're doing. Oh. So you can either have all of your demons like spread contagion, but also get the contagion, which is the -1 to your armor save, so they just hit that much harder. Or they're even tankier with the -1 to hit, which is what I usually
really
take.
Good.
Like the -1 to hit is just such a bullshit strat or thing
really
to go
strong.
against. Yeah, against almost every army. The only ones you don't go into is like Tau, where they just ignore every modifier out there. But and Custodians, which just always hit on like 2s anyway. So most of the time you're just going to be hitting, doing the -1 to hit aura, which just makes you super tanky. But yeah, you're basically building this list around the 6-inch deep strikes and stealing primary, because we have the Lord of Contagion, which already hits hard as fuck. Him with the Death Shroud coming down outside 6, with the lethals, sustain, and lance when they make that charge. He's got the Fell Harvester, which actually adds 2 attacks, I believe, to his ability. So now he's going in with 7 attacks base, with sustain, hitting on 2s, and lethals.
Yeah.
4 rerolls to hit. Wait, no. So 4 rerolls to hit, there is a strat. So if the Death Shroud, if a Death Guard unit is in combat with a demon unit, so Nurgles count, Plague Bearers count, Roddy counts, like if they're just in combat with them, Death Shroud can charge in, and then it's 1 CP, 4 rerolls to hit. So now your Death Shroud is 4 rerolls to hit with lethal and sustain hitting on 2s.
That's a lot.
Fell Harvester, extra 2 attacks, so you're fucking 7 attacks hitting on 2s, strength 8 with lance and 3 damage is going to kill almost anything in the game.
Please note, everything it's going against is also -1 toughness, so that just biases the math even more.
Yes. Forgot about that.
Casual.
I mean, it's been a while since I ran it, because I ran it at the end of 10th, right before we hit #1 Death Guard play in the world. But the Lord of Contagion melee is strength 9, AP 2, 3 damage. So 7 attacks hitting on, like it's so good. And he gets back up, which
what I really like about this, what you already said, what I love about this is a humble unit of Plague Bearers is already +1 to charge. Mm-hmm. So now they're coming out with a 6-inch deep strike charge with +1 to charge. They have a 5-inch rerollable charge out of deep strike.
You didn't even get the best part yet. Wait, there's something better than that. Okay.
Right, sorry, I'm just excited. Feed me.
Right. So that's the Lord of Contagion with the Death Shroud. Then we have another Death Shroud with the Lord of Contagion, or Lord of Virulence. So usually, like for me, I run 2 Death Shroud units, which have the 6-inch deep strike innately. But with the Lord of Virulence, he gives full rerolls to wound with the unit to shooting. So now their flamers actually full rerolls to wound into something that can kill screens, chaff, whatever. He can come down via deep strike and just get full rerolls to wound. If you do the contagion aura, your AP1 flamers, he's AP2 flamers. He's anti-infantry 2+, they're anti-infantry 4+. So like you're wounding a shit ton. But you bring him with the Death Shroud because now you can come down within 6 with the Death Shroud and him, and he has the contagion that then demons can come down even more. So instead of screening out 9 inches, you have to screen out 6 inches with them because he's with the Death Shroud. So it's a really good combo to then bring in all of your demons outside 6 of your opponent as well. So that is just, it's so good. Like he can come down behind a wall essentially, and then all your demons could just be in front and just charging in. But I really like rapiding him because you could rapid him in outside 9, flamer something that's about to charge with full rerolls to wound. So like you're killing stuff going like berserkers. The Votan berserkers were about to charge me. I'm like, all right, rapid. Here's a shit ton of flamers. All the berserkers, like half of them died, so they don't kill anything that they charge into. And now he can then just move up 5 and then deep strike more demons, wherever he needs to, because he's already on the table. So that's a really good combo. We have 2 Millennium Plague Casters. This is called the Plague Bus. I have a whole video on it.
I love it.
But the Plague Bus is 2 Plague Casters in the Rhino. If the Rhino shoots at something, they then get full rerolls to wound into that target. And with the Contagion, like they're D6 plus 3 shots each. It's like 6-2 D3. Ignore. It's such a powerful unit. Most of the time, they're going to be winning on 5s. So against vehicles, you're just full rerolls to wound, winning on 5s with all of these attacks and D3 damage. So they've whittled down a Rogel Dorn before. Like it is just insane the amount of damage these guys can put out. And I mainly like them in a lot of my Death Guard lists because they're chaff clearing. Like you can keep them in the Rhino, move up the Rhino, just shoot 2d6 plus 6 shots out of the Rhino. The Rhino then shoots bolt. Like it kills almost any chaff in the game. So they're very good. They're really good late game as well, but they're the ones kind of running around the Plague Bus. Rodicus, because we obviously want a big demon on our list. So Rodicus is the best Nurgle character demon that you could bring. He gives the -2 speed aura. He has +1 damage for all of your Nurgle demons, which is sick.
So good.
And he's really so hard to kill. Like 4 up invuln, 6 up feel no pain, shit ton of wounds.
-1 to hit in this detachment.
-1 to hit. Also can come down outside 6 inches. So he's basically dropping down, spraying some devastating flamer shots into something, and then charging 6 inches away, making that +1 damage, hitting on 4 damage on his like overhead attacks, 2 damage on his sweep attacks. He's -1 OC for anything within 6 inches of him, so he can like charge in, make your Terminators OC1 again, and then stealing the objective, right? So he's just a beat stick and a 6-inch charge in this detachment. 2 Plague Bearer units. One's going to be starting on the table to make your home field sticky. The other one's going to be in Deep Strike. Now, here's the secret to this detachment. The Plague Bearers and any demon that you guys want can rapid 6 inches. You see, you're like, what? Wait, how the fuck? How does that work? Okay, so let's look up the Beckoning Blight. Okay, so each time a Plague Legion unit from your army is set up on the battlefield using the Deep Strike ability, if it is set up wholly within 12 inches of this bearer, it can be set up anywhere that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy units instead of more than 9. There's nothing saying your movement phase or end of your movement phase or whatever it is. It's literally if you come in via Deep Strike, which rapid is, you can then come in outside 6 inches via rapid.
That's pretty sick, dude.
So,
that's pretty awesome.
So imagine 6 Nurglings that is about to stop your charge in front of your entire World Eater army. It's such a slap in the face. So that works with Plague Bearers. Really nice. You can wrap it in 6 inches if needed. Like let's say you need to steal an objective. They run up something into the center to try and out OC you. And the objective's pretty big, right? So then you just rapid 2 of your Plague Bearers on the objective. You now steal it. They don't have anything to shoot them off. It's now sticky and yours in the next command phase. And now you have 10 Plague Bearers that can just move up and go do something else. So that's one thing. You can rapid Nurglings. You can rapid of Radagast. You can rapid like any demon 6 inches wholly within 12 inches of your Lord of Virulence. So again, that's also what makes this detachment so scary, especially if you play it for the first time. Because if you're playing a really good opponent that knows how to deny or screen, move block or screen or whatever, like that rapid is huge in your opponent's turn. So that is just nuts. And they're all OC2, obviously. They're super tanky, 2 wounds, 5 up invuln save. They have 2 damage near Roddy because Roddy could just pick a unit, and now they all have 2 damage lethal. 5-inch charge, like you said, out of a 6-inch charge, so they have +1 to charge, so they're charging
good.
5 inches to steal
So good.
any primary in the game, unless it's you and you failed 2 5-inch charges. Sorry, shots fired. And then the Rhino with the Plague Bus, because that's insane. Now going into the Death Guard, we have Beast of Nurgle. Usually just start on the table because he can scout move, super tanky. Chaos Spawn, 2 of them. This is a change to what I ran before. I had 1, but having 2 Chaos Spawn and Death Guard is just so good. They're T7, 5 wounds. 5 wounds? 4 or 5 wounds.
4. They're 4.
Yeah. 4 up invuln, but T7 with the -1 to hit. And if they charge, and if they charge you, you do mortals back to them. So T7, 4 up save, 4 wounds, 5 up feel no pain, speed 8, which is very rare for Death Guard. So basically, they scout 6. So they're scouting into a defensive position turn 1, and then they can either run up to spread the contagion or stage. And then on turn 2, you're almost getting anything you want in your opponent's army in contagion. I forgot to mention in the beginning, you get to extend the contagion if you're 7 inches near a Nurgle demon unit. So on turn 2, your contagion is 9 inches. On turn 3, it's 12 inches.
12.
So
that's gross.
You're getting like your speed 8. So on turn 2, you're 17 inches without even moving. Like moving up 8, 9 inches, 17-inch contagion. You're getting anything you want in contagion. So the whole board is going to be contagion by turn 2.
Yeah.
So they usually start near the 6-inch infiltrating Nurgling unit. So that way the Nurglings have contagion turn 1 because they're near the spawn, and the spawn have a 6-inch contagion turn 1. So if they like get anywhere near the Nurglings, they're in contagion. It's a really good combo. The spawn and the Nurglings combo really, really well together. Death Shroud Terminators, we already know what they do. Floated Bloat Drone with the Flesh Mower. I was trying the gun one, the Flamer one, but not that good. It's very unreliable. So having just the guaranteed 10 attacks with lethal, speed 10,
that's awesome.
Moving up, charging in, 2 damage. Like
the Flesh Mower is so good.
Yeah.
Like what other unit skirmishes as well as that for the same cost? Like what other unit is that good at 90 points?
Fly and can fall back and charge. Like, so if you don't kill it with -1 to hit, it just moves back and then charges over you and goes to
you think my Jump Pack Assault Intercessors are the same value as that thing for 90 points?
It's 100 points now.
Like that thing's awesome. Yeah. Is it 100 now?
It went up a little bit, but still, it's like 100 points. Like it's such a good, even turn 1, like just moving up and getting stuff.
I love that thing.
2 heavy blade launchers. Now there's a strat in this detachment that if a Nurgle unit is in combat, they can spend 1 CP and act as if they're not in combat. So now your blast weapons can shoot into combat as if they weren't in combat. So you still have guns going into a unit that's tied up your Rotigus or tied up your Nurglings or something like that. Your Nurglings are just super annoying because they get a 6-inch charge out of Deep Strike. They're -1 to hit in combat, and with the contagion, they're also another -1 to hit if they have any pluses to hit. So they're just so fucking annoying to deal with. So if they get into combat with something, you're going to spend 1 CP, and now you can shoot into that combat as if they're not even there. So that strat is just insane with the heavy blight launchers in your army. Plus the Plague Bus can flamer into that unit. Plus the Eroticus can flamer. Plus all the Death Shroud can flamer. Like it's just a ton of flamers. 2 Nurgling units, 1 3-man for late game to come down and do whatever. And then 1 6-man that are going to be the infiltrating units. Now, also another strat, you can bring back a full Nurgling unit for 1 CP. So they are like
6-man will just pop up later on in the game.
Yep, they're your unit. Now, this is a trick. I talk about this in my videos, but using your Nurglings, like you can choose an invuln or a regular save. So if your Nurglings are about to die or they're not going to live through whatever this round is, you don't want them to survive. If there's 1 left or 2 left, you have to make an 8 leadership to try and pass for them to use the strat next turn and try and live, right? So instead, you're like, all right, how many shots do you have coming in? You have 4 shots coming in. I only have 2 guys left. I'm going to take my regular save, and these 2 Nurglings now just die.
Nice.
So that way they die, and then you can spend that CP instead of relying on an 8 for a leadership test and failing battle shock and not being able to bring them back. So you just kill them yourself and then spend that CP to guarantee that they come back. So there's 6 more Nurglings off the table that you can either rapid within 6 inches, come down outside 6 inches in your deployment zone or your turn, and then charge again and just block up your entire opponent's army. So 6 Nurglings spread out is like 30 something fucking inches. Here's 30 Nurglings charged in on turn 2. You killed them. Oh, shit. Here's 6 more fucking Nurglings on turn 3 that you have to now chew through with -1 to hit, 5 up invuln save, and 4 wounds each. So
I like it. This is a cool list.
Poxwalkers, 10-man, infiltrate. Screen out the back usually. That's kind of what they do. But yeah, so that is that's the combo of the last list. So it's got the 6-inch charges everywhere. What other crazy strats? Oh, forgot this one. This one actually came up. You have to do a leadership test if you're in combat with a demon unit, and if you fail, you can't fall back. Very good with the Nurglings. So Nurglings.
Forcing people to stay stationary. That's
and then they can't shoot them.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's very solid. Does that work on monsters and vehicles as well?
Does not work on monsters or vehicles.
Cool. No, I like that, man. That's cool. So I think one of the really fun things as we talked about all of these lists is all of these lists are really, 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 really focused on how do we control the board to score primary and deny primary. And what's really funny is that when you view the game through that lens, there's so much in this game that you can build to do great things with. When you stop viewing the game through the lens of how do you just murder a Satan, there's so much out there that you can build incredible game plans with. Because remember, guys, the goal of the game is to create a victory point differential in your favor. Your game plan is simply the tactics and the strategies that you use to accomplish that goal. I love the list that you came up with. I think those are sick.
This one was, again, honed in. Like, we had a ton. Me and Oscar were going back and forth, like, right before Worlds, and we're like, all right, what the hell do we bring that's different, that nobody's really seen before? We kind of took all of our tools out of our toolbox and just made up this list, tested a bunch of times. This was the final thing that we came up with, and it performed. I went 6-2 at Worlds. Lost to a GSC guard list that if you come down within 12 inches via deep strike, they just flat inch 6-inch away. So kind of straight counter to my list. So couldn't touch that list. And then I lost game 1 actually against a World Eater player who had the warband that had the Land Raider that can like move up, get out, kill something, get back in the Land Raider, and just super annoying. I just misplayed that so much, and he beat me on the first game. But then wound up going 6-2 the rest of the Worlds. So it definitely has a lot of kick in it, and I think still good in this meta. But yeah, like you said, like, you guys have to think outside the box and don't come in like, if you learn how to play off meta lists, obviously you can play the meta lists. The meta lists are already tuned. Like, we already know what they do. That's why I don't ever like playing the standard Renegade Raiders, War Horde, like all this standard list that everybody already knows. Everybody knows it's good. You know you're probably good with it, but why not test something else that not a lot of people know and you could still play really well? That's off meta. So hopefully this video, guys, you can take a lot of notes from it. If you want to run any of these lists, we hope you do, because they are super fun and do very, very well. They're already proven. Like, we've already proven to you that they could work and win games with even GTs. So let me know in the comments below what you liked, didn't like, how we can improve on the channel. Take a look, obviously, if you aren't at Happy Crumping Gaming. And yeah, Crump, anything else from you?
No, man, I appreciate it. I love the way you're thinking. Appreciate you having me on. This was an absolute blast. Guys, if you want help learning any of these lists, any of the ones that Derek was talking about, he offers some amazing coaching services. Make sure you check them out. I do the same on my channel. So if you want any advice on some of the things I was talking about, feel free to check me out. Dude, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's funny because you do a lot of armies that I don't play, and I do a lot of armies that you don't play. So it's like
It's
whatever coach you
beautiful.
guys
It's
want,
beautiful.
pick one of us, and you guys will learn a lot. So guys, appreciate it. Good luck.
Be successful. Be successful.
And we'll see you in another video soon. All right, guys, thanks for sticking towards the end of the video. If you guys want to support the channel, all the links in the description below, which we'll go over. But these right here, we have 3D prints of Cypher, Tech Priest, Phobo Libby, Combi Libby, Lieutenant, Calidus, Codiez, and the Lord of Contagion. All those are up for sale. Message me on Discord. All these widgets, the 6-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch, 1-inch, they pop out. Those are up for sale. The 9-inch widget, the 1 CP token, where you guys can keep track of the CP every single game. The token markers for Chaos and Grey Knights, they're poker chips. Those are really good for sticky objectives. And then also the wound gauges and the fuck you and fuck me tokens are up for sale as well. And we have a new sponsor, Snot Goblin Terrain. They are really, really cool. What's great about them is you can customize them for any layout. So if you run a Games Workshop layout, or if you run WTC layout, you can run it that way. And the best part, it's super hard plastic, not going to break on you. And also it's all fully painted. So check on the link below if you guys want to check these guys out. We use them in our streams and they look super awesome on the stream, but it's really good to travel into all your stores and bring them with you. So check those guys out. Then we still have 3D6 Wargaming, where if you guys want some custom templates, you guys can click on these. And then our new and improved Rexar lasers, laser lights with the Dirtbag logo on them. These guys are at a lot of local GTs, especially in the Texas area, but these lines are, or these lasers are rechargeable. So definitely be picking this up. I'm going to be getting sent one of these so I can show you guys on the live stream and stuff like this. But you guys get the Dirtbags and the lasers rechargeable, so highly recommend the Rexar lasers in the description below. Look at this. Look at that line. It is so good. And it's rechargeable. At the top, it's got the USB. Just plug it right in. Good to go. This shit is legit. And lastly, guys, the merch store. This I love seeing at GTs. When you see it across the room, you see your own logo, which is so cool. It's the red, white, and blue. We have the hats as well. They're all flex fit with the Dirtbags logo on the back. I just love wearing backwards hats. But all of these are available in the Printify shop. It's print to order, so you can get all of these shirts, different sizes, different colors. We also have the old school stuff. We have the Nurgling. We have mugs, which you can fit your entire hand in, and some of the Grey Knight logos as well. So let me know what I'm missing. You can message me on Discord, but stay tuned. If you guys are interested in the Patreon, that'll come up last. So appreciate it, guys, and let's keep it going. What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are interested in joining the Dirtbag Nation over at patreon.com, you get a bunch of perks. What we did in 2024 was we really expanded. I had traveled a ton and I played my ass off in 40k. Right now, we're ranked #1 best player in the United States on ITC rankings. We were the #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world this year in 2024. 2 years ago, we got ranked #1 Grey Knight player in the world, and this year we're probably going to go into Death Guard, hopefully when the new codex comes out, or Emperor's Children. But you guys, if you guys want that head coach or that coach always in your corner just to ask questions, bounce ideas off, that's what the competitive Dirtbag and the Dirtbag Nation is all about. If you guys want to support the channel, you head over to patreon.com. You can join the Just a Car tab, which is $5 a month. You guys get access to the Discord Patreon tab. You have to be a patron to get into that Discord, and also I'm always there. All the other coaches are there. Basically, it's just such a good community over on Discord that you guys get specific access to it that only Patreons can get. If you guys want to bump that up, the competitive Dirtbag tier, you guys get to message me or another Grandmaster or another Dirtbag coach over the Dirtbag Nation to add unlimited questions, list ideas, list reviews, and bounce ideas off of. That's what having a coach in your corner is all about. If you guys want to bump up to the Grandmaster tier, that tier you get every perk under the sun. So basically you get access to Discord, you get one-on-one coaching, you get a call once a month if you guys would like to go over any RTTs coming up, any GTs coming up, any list reviews live over Discord chat, and also a special perk that Grandmasters get if you guys want any video suggestions like we do all the time with these table setup that we just upgraded thanks to the Patreons. You guys get suggestions or battle reports you want to see specifically played live by a coach or myself on the next battle report, or a live battle report coming up on the Patreon. So you guys get obviously first access to all the videos. We post them first on patreon.com, but there's just a ton of benefits to having a professional coach that plays this game all the time at the very, very high competitive level in your corner at all times. And that's really what the Dirtbag Nation is all about, getting you guys better at 40K, the basics, and being good in your community. So if you guys want to support the channel, I really appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you guys in 2024, 2025. I am super stoked for, super excited for. If we really want to get a bigger studio going, that is going to be my focus in 2025, is really growing the community on YouTube and Patreon specifically. So thank you so much for 2024, all my Patreons. If you guys are interested in joining and want that coach in your corner, head over to patreon.com and support the channel. Appreciate it.